Why do people ask for help? Because they don't know. Like that's the hilarious thing about when somebody shows up and says, "Here's my problem," is automatically I'm already aware that they don't know what they're talking about. Like, here's my problem, X and Y. Okay, well, if that's your problem, why don't you solve it? So maybe that's not your problem because if you knew what your problem was, wouldn't you just figure out how to solve it? So they don't know how to solve it and they don't actually know what the problem is to begin with. So where does their problem exist? Where do subconscious, or oh, I gave it away. Where do problems exist? Where do problems come from? Just say it again so that we have it all out in the open here. Where do problems come from? Where, yeah, unmute though, Gail.
Subconscious.
Like Gail's trying to give us unconscious moments already by being muted and screaming. Yeah, problems exist in the subconscious. How do we know that? How do we know that that's where they exist?
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, of course.
Because we're trying to solve them in the conscious and it's not working?
Exactly. So if you come to me and say, I want to quit smoking, I'm sure I want to quit, and yet I've tried a million times in the past and I can't. Well, then didn't you just tell me that consciously you know what you want, but it's not working what you thought you wanted? So that's not exactly it. Isn't that true for every single problem that people bring? I mean, phobias are an interesting example too. I'm afraid of spiders. Okay, so you know you're afraid of spiders, but what's behind that? How did you get afraid of them? Why? There's got to be some explanation that's not conscious. And by the way, people will tell you, "Oh, because my grandmother, blah blah blah," and when I was 5. And it's like, well, if you know that and you know that you're afraid of it, then how come you're not unafraid of it? So that's not it, or that's only a piece of it. So people will tell you their conscious belief of why they have a problem. But I already know that if they've analyzed it and they've kept their problem, they've missed something. There's something they don't know about their problem. So, bottom line is all problems are subconscious problems, even problems that people think they understand and explain to you, which everybody will do, by the way. Just get used to that. Every single person will give you a long, long explanation for why they have their problem. Everybody thinks they know. So that's part of this business, is just getting used to the fact that people think things at one level, but that's the whole reason that they're coming to you, is because they need more help. So all problems are actually subconscious problems. We know that problems exist in the client's unconscious or subconscious. And by the way, unconscious, subconscious, those are the same thing. Superconscious is another term that, is either inside of the subconscious or another level of the subconscious, but all of those will put in the same category. So if problems are subconscious, we're back to what I just said at the start of the conversation, or 5 minutes ago, which is, how can you prepare? How can you prepare to solve a problem that a person has no idea what it is? So if someone tells me my problem is smoking and that's their conscious problem, and then I prepare a stop smoking script, and then I read them the script, and then that didn't help because that wasn't actually the problem, then what was actually the good of them coming in? I just told them more about their conscious problem that didn't do anything. So you can't prepare, because what people tell you at face value is not true. And it's not their fault, by the way. And all of us here have had a problem, right, that we've tried to understand or explain. So we're all doing that. I'm not saying that we're exempt from it. We all do that. How can you prepare a script if you don't know what the actual problem is? It makes no sense, right? Now we're starting to think like, oh, yeah, traditional hypnosis is weird because it's preparing to solve something that you don't know what it is until the session actually begins. So, why would you do that? That makes no sense. How can you apply a pre planned technique to something that has not been explored yet? That's the main question that I'm asking you this morning in this first module. How could you possibly do that successfully? So that's why I'm starting the lesson, not by telling you the structure of ACH or how to do it or giving you instructions. I'm just telling you this one basic thing as your module one learning, which is a hypnotic interview is just as easy as learning about the problem. Why would you want to learn about the problem? Because what the person thinks the problem is, isn't. So all you need to do as your main mission is explore and understand the problem. That's it. Literally, that's it. So I want you to ignore, I know now we're getting already into the hypnotic and crazy part of the course, which is you're in a hypnosis course. And what I want you to do is ignore hypnosis, ignore trance, ignore problem solving. Like that's the exact opposite thing that we're told to do when we go to traditional hypnosis. In traditional hypnosis, it's like, okay, quit smoking, need my quit smoking script. That's the problem solving. So I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't even try to solve the problem because you don't know what it is. So if you attempt to solve it without any idea of what the actual problem is, I guarantee you're going to end up with a result that's not favorable.